Okay.
I don't play them games. I don't play them games. But anyway, I don't even know how I want to introduce this young lady today. Okay,
Wow.
because listen, I read her bio about 12 times.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, I'm trying to be like Auntie Natural when I grow up, okay?
Period.
Because listen, if Miss B don't want to come, guess what? Auntie, I'm on my way to you. Already got my flight and everything.
You ain't leaving me.
I'm trying to be over there. And listen. I'm trying to catch some fish.
I'm the one that even told you about Auntie, so you can't leave.
But listen. She might love us equally, but I talk to her more than you do, so I'm coming first.
Out of all fairness, Auntie know how Black businesswomen, we are very busy. We high demand, so she understands.
That's what you're trying to use as an excuse.
Yes, but she know I'm coming. She know I'm coming. I've been saying it for 2 years. I've been manifesting it for 2 years.
She coming.
She know I'm coming. That's why she said it, because she know I'm coming.
Anyway, we got Auntie Natural in the building today. She is a woman of power. Okay.
Yes.
The natural way of healing. Because listen, I'm trying to tell you, that one conversation I had with Auntie where she was like, listen, I was doing my sea moss and everything, so I don't gotta take no pills. I said, I'm trying to be like you.
Right.
Okay? Because listen. So I ain't going to introduce this powerful woman. I'm going to let Auntie Natural introduce herself and just tell the people a little bit about who Auntie Natural is. Yes, I'm saying Auntie Natural. You know her name. I'm saying Auntie Natural.
Yeah, Auntie Natural.
So Auntie Natural, the floor is yours. You're gonna rock out.
Well, greetings, beautiful people. I am so excited. I'm sitting here smiling ear to ear, and I'm just paying close attention. I'm being very attentive tonight because I'm sitting before two of my favorite people. And I mean that when I say that. Y'all don't have to fight over me. It's enough of me to go around. It is more than enough.
Okay.
So I just want to say congratulations, first of all, because I want to see all brown people, and surely the ones that belong to me, I want to see them just rising up. And it's possible. So about time we finish this conversation, everybody going to know. Everybody going to know that it's possible. They can jump on this bandwagon. They can rise up. They can become whatever they want to be. And if they've been thinking about it, then you're more closer to it than you think you are. So my name is, I love how you have Mutesi on the flyer. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And so let me explain my names. My name is Natural is on my government passport, driver's license, just one name, Natural, no surname. And we can talk about this later if you choose. The Mutesi. I lived several places. So when I lived in Rwanda, which is East Africa, you won't go to Africa and leave without them giving you back the name that was stolen from you many, many years ago. So you will have a naming ceremony. You don't get to go in those villages and not come out with a naming ceremony. So when it happened for me, Mutesi is East Africa. That's Rwanda. It means one who is loved by many. And at this point, they were only around me for about 45 days. So it was very emotional. One who is loved by many. So that's personal. You'll see it on my Facebook. You'll see it on Instagram. You'll see it everywhere I am. And like I said, Natural is on the passport. And Nokukanya is South Africa. So you'll see it too. As a matter of fact, you'll see on my Facebook page, Mutesi Iyah, and in parentheses, you'll see Nokukanya, Kumalo, which is my South African name. Another ceremony. Nokukanya is another name given to me. So I've had the pleasure of receiving two of my African names back. And because we got to start somewhere. And taking your African name back is not such a bad place to start. You know, so Nokukanya means light. And let me just tell you briefly about light. So I stayed in a village with no electricity, no running water. People in America said, you crazy. But no, I'm not. And I can tell you a million reasons why I'm not.
Right.
So it means light. And I said, wow. So we in a village with no electricity, no running water. And if I'm the light, because when I said to them, what does Nokukanya mean? They said light. I said, if I'm the light, then I'm honored. So Nokukanya is South Africa. Mutesi is Rwanda, East Africa, and natural is the government name. So feel free to call me anyone you choose. I honor all of them. I turn on all of them. If somebody say Mutesi, I'm turning. They say no Kukanya, I'm turning. If they say natural, they got my full attention. Yep. So I am a business owner. I am a serial entrepreneur. That means I eat, sleep, and drink. And by the way, cheers.
No, cheers.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
I eat, sleep, and drink. What am I going to do next? And by the way, little Oprah Winfrey. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss T. You just gave me an ideal. So I am an entrepreneur. I'm an educated woman. We'll just leave that there. And I live on a beautiful small little island called Grenada. It's 138 square miles, but I was born on East 25th Street in Wilmington, Delaware. So that's who I am in a nutshell, and I'm excited.
Absolutely.
That's who I am.
Yeah. See, that's why I had her introduce herself, because I was going to give it to you like that. I was going to say, listen, boom, 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 this is what it is.
Yeah.
But I really love, you said I read that thing about 12 times.
I did. I was just so intrigued.
It touched my soul. And listen, Impress, that's about 2 years old. That bio, I didn't have time to tweak it and touch it up and all that. It's about 2 years old. So things have changed. And I hope everybody is growing. I hope when you look back on your life, even today, after tonight, tomorrow should be something different.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's who I am in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Did y'all catch all of that?
Oh yeah, we about to break it down. We really about to break it down. So
So make sure y'all catch it.
yeah, oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
That's blood right there.
Yes, it is. This is true blood. It is, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump right into it, because this is what I want to talk about first. Because Auntie Natural, she ain't gonna hold no punches. And that's what I want. So let's go back to, you said that you grew up in Wilmington. So how was that transition for you, being from a woman in Wilmington to East Africa and Grenada? Like, how did that get started for you?
Well, for me, it was easy. And I'm going to tell you why. Because as a child, I'm going to go way back. As a child, when we were in grade school, teachers were always talking about how life should be. And according to them, it was get a husband or a wife, have a child or two, and a picket fence house, and they wouldn't go no further than that. And I used to sit, because I'm always listening. I love learning and I love teaching. So I listen a lot. And I would say, wait a minute, it has to be more to life than that. That can't just be it. Because I wasn't interested in none of it. I mean, I had 2 marriages, 2 failed marriages. We could talk about that too. But I'm just saying it had to be more than that. Because in my mind, I was always thinking, live somewhere where you can have shoes on or don't have shoes on. Connect with the earth. I was always thinking in a way that most children would have said, she's weird. But for real, she wasn't weird. She was just ahead of her time.
Right.
But I didn't even know that. I didn't know how to put all this into words till I became. So it was always stuff. Even the red, white, and blue flag, I was never excited about it. Those little stars and stripes that they got us singing that song too, that really don't make sense if you listen to the words. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying.
Right.
None of it added up for me, but because I was young and I didn't know how to word it, any of it, I always felt different. I start making my clothes at age 13. Today I make all of my clothes. I don't have any clothes bought from a shop, but I'm just saying I started at 13. So I'm just saying how I got there. And every time I made an outfit, I would make a head wrap. I didn't know that it was connecting with my culture and tapping into my ancestral DNA. All I know is it felt good to me and I love the beauty of it. That's all. But to everybody else, it was always like, well, what's your African name? What's your Muslim name? Like, who are you? Where are you from? So it was always something. I never felt comfortable in United Snakes America. I just never did.
I like how she says that.
Yeah.
I never ever felt comfortable there, but I did not know how to word it. I was a child. I was young. I was discovering who I was, but I knew there had to be more to life than this thing that they were teaching us in school and my surroundings. So I held on and I held on and I held on, and I began to hang around people who were hungry for knowledge. I started hanging around those Muslims and those Africans and those Caribbean people and all my gay and lesbian friends. People say, well, why you have so many? What's up, natural? You know, hey.
Right.
One thing for sure, I don't judge my friends by their sexual preference. So now I got a little bit of everybody in my life, and I'm eating off of them. We feeding each other. They're like, wow, natural, we like your conversation, and I like yours too. But it's outside the box now. Now it's outside the box. So I'm moving around, and I deal with America as long as I could. I bought a house. I did what they said do. That's the thing to do. They said buy a house. Okay, I bought one. I wasn't interested in it. I was doing it because that's what everybody else was doing.
Right.
So today my life is so different. It's doing what everybody else is not doing, but everybody else is attracted to it and want to do it. Right. So I lived in this house about 4.5, 5 years. I done came all the way up from childhood. I'm going along with life, but I know it's nothing in America that excites me. And I'm talking about from dating to walking down the street to going to school and being miseducated, because it was all miseducation. For them trying to tell us that Christopher Columbus discovered something, I knew none of this was true. Even going to church, being baptized, and I still got my baptismal certificate and I honor it. It's still with me now. So everything. So I took matters into my own hand. You know, because our parents do the best they can. This is my experience. They do the best they can. They give you what they got. But today I know I was raised on a lot of misinformed information. And that's putting it nice as I can and lightly. I honor my parents, but that was not my life. So I began to hang around with people who are hungry for knowledge. And it's just that simple. The Rasta community, I love them. So long story short, my parents died. Now I'm in my 20s, and my mom transitions, and I said, I'm out of here. I'm in late 20s. I'm out of here. My family thought, why would you do something like that? Why would you leave us? Like, why? And they gave me a farewell. They had tears in their eyes, and I couldn't really understand. I thought it would be like, oh, wow, this is cool. We'll come to visit you. But I'm the outside the box one. And I'm determined to live my life. And it was the best move, one of the best moves I could have made. After my mom died, I think 2 years, I was going to live on a little island called Antigua and Barbuda. And I knew one person. Everywhere I lived outside of that, I knew no one. Even here on the island of Grenada, I just kept going. This is my experience. Once you live in another country, it's going to be difficult to go back and live in America. It was for me. So once I got started, and that was about 2006? Today's 2023? And I have never looked back. So I know I skipped over a lot, but if you want to dabble and say, well, what happened there? That's in a nutshell. Because there's a whole lot between there. I got a whole 25 years. I'm a grateful recovering addict, you know. So we talking crack smoking in between there. We talking discovering who I am in between there before I made these moves. All these moves out the country is straight clean. I wouldn't suggest nobody go try to live nowhere on drugs and alcohol. Pull yourself together. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a whole lot between there, but that's the gist of it. Mm-hmm. And it's the best move I could have ever made for myself. Today, we 25 years free from drugs and alcohol. We clean. We 25 years clean.
That's what I'm talking about.
We look for meetings everywhere we go. There are none on this little small island, but when I lived in Antigua, there were meetings. There were plenty of meetings in South Africa. Everywhere I went, there were meetings, except for this little small island. And that's okay.
Right.
Because one thing I've learned about recovery is that 2 people conversating, 3 people conversating, and they can be total strangers or they can be blood, and they ain't got to be no addict like me, recovering addict. They ain't got to be that. But it's a meeting. So it's a whole lot. My life is a journey. It really should be in a book by now. So that's how I got from there to there. But it's a whole lot in between there.
Right. So when's the book coming?
Well, I wish I could give you a date. The first and second chapter has been written since 2012.
Wow.
I wrote the first chapter in Florida. Florida was before South Africa. I left Florida going to South Africa, and I wrote the first and second chapter on the beach in Florida because I had just got an invitation to live and teach in lovely South Africa, the home of Nelson Mandela, the home of the place where Oprah Winfrey built the school for the girls. Mm-hmm. So all that happened. So that's how the book started. The first and second chapter is written. Sometimes I'll pull it up and read it, but I'm not sure what's happening. Because all I got to do is start talking and writing, and I can never stop.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Well, I want the first side copy.
I heard that.
Now, I got a question.
Yes.
I always love to ask you this, Auntie.
Yes.
What was your first day like in Africa? Like what? Like put me in that moment.
That first moment when I touched the soil.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
Because I waited all my life.
Yeah.
Right.
I waited all my life. And from 9 years old, I waited.
Wow.
Yeah. When I went, wait a minute, let me tell you this. Because when I lived in Antigua as a grade 6 school teacher, 3 years, 2006 to 9, I didn't know that they was preparing me for Africa in 2014 to 16. So when I got to Africa, they kept saying, well, how do you know how to do all this? Fetch rainwater, use a cutlass, chop wood, all this stuff that you do to survive in the island of Antigua. I didn't even know it. So by the time I got to Africa, where I waited from 9, it was tears, it was laughter. I was laughing and crying at the same time. You ever seen it rain and the sunshine be out at the same time?
Right.
Okay. It was crying, and when the plane landed, we had to drag a lot of bags. We had to drag stuff to a bus, and we had to drag stuff here. So it was really, we was worrying about getting where we were. But when we got to the village, when you get to Africa, somebody gonna know you coming. Right. Somebody, they know you coming. They just do.
Right.
And they had a farewell for us. I never forget. I mean, a welcoming. And they was drumming and the children was and it was just this one young lady. You could hear them coming from a long way. Like, what's that? But they was they was in a group, like they stand close together and they don't separate. And when they got close and they was singing and they I can still hear that song in my mind. Whatever they were saying, it meant welcome. And this one teenage young girl, she looked at me in my eyes and she said, and I lost it. I'm going to lose it now.
Yeah.
Because I knew it meant welcome home.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I knew it meant welcome home.
Yeah.
And I lost it. So I got myself together. And then I reached down and I touched the soil. The soil was like a reddish brown. And I touched it and I said, wow, I took a picture of it and everything. I got pictures of touching the soil.
Right.
And then we went inside this like center. All our bags is just thrown right there. And we in this center. And now the elders have rose up. And they doing a traditional dance called Gita. Gida. And you know, your leg go way up in the air. Pop! Pop! If you ever YouTube, Google South Africans traditional dance, Gita, you'll see them doing it. I watch them all the time. And now, of course, only a young person can get their leg like a bop, unless you're a karate expert. Bop, you know, so the elders who got up first and they was doing it. And of course, they walking on sticks and canes, and they doing the motions of it. They looking up at the sky like they connecting with God. And they said, and they took their cane and said, whew. And I said, they doing it. They doing the motion. That made me lose it. And then between all that, this one short elder village lady, she held out her arms like this. And I lost it because I knew she was saying, daughter, welcome home. And I cried the entire 2 years, you know. Yeah. I'm telling you about touching the soil.
I was watching the videos on Facebook. I know.
They would say mistress because they call elders mistress and teachers. They said, mistress, why are you crying now? I said, y'all don't understand. I'm from East 25th Street. Nobody makes it to Africa. And if you do, you have a responsibility to come back. That's why any chance I get to be under a palm tree, sitting on the beach, sitting in y'all's living room, I'm gonna be sharing bits and pieces because it's my responsibility. What's that saying the young people say? She understood the assignment. I understood the assignment. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So that's what it was like. It was laughter and tears and all that welcome. She ain't say nothing. She just held out her arms. And it was, I cried for the entire 2 years. From the time I touched the soil. Every time I went somewhere. Standing in the classroom, trying to learn the Zulu language with the children, trying to teach them English. Crying. They said, what's wrong? Whew. It was deep. When you wait for something your entire life, something that is connected to who you are, something that was stolen from you and you have not seen it yet, outside of trying to connect with people in America, trying to connect with your own people, but everything's ripped away. Everybody's westernized. Everybody's calling themselves Sally and Lucy, and those ain't our names.
Right.
The surnames ain't even ours.
Right.
If Edmund Shepard didn't give me anything in life, which he did,
right,
he made me understand that our surnames was not ours. They belong to the slave master. So that's why I got one name. Today ain't got nothing to do with the love I got for my family. But they can have them surnames.
Right.
They can have them.
I like that.
Yeah. Because, see, we got to start somewhere. We just do. I'm sorry. We do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told you Auntie was deep.
Ah!
I told you.
No, listen.
Yes.
Listen. I knew, but it's different when like you see bits and pieces of it on Facebook versus when you actually physically get to hear it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, it's just more so, okay, I gotta soak all this in because Grenada, you gotta get over there like quick. I'm trying to tell you because I